Serious men don't reveal themselves slowly. They reveal themselves immediately. And so do men who are not serious. Not every man who takes you on a date is serious. The problem is, most women don't recognize it on the first date because it doesn't look dramatic. It looks small. It looks subtle. It looks harmless. And that's why it works. You think you're being open-minded. You think you're being patient. You think you're being understanding. But what you're actually doing is negotiating with red flags. And serious men, they don't require negotiation. They don't create confusion. They don't blur boundaries. They don't test your standards. So today, we're not talking about awkward first dates. We're talking about behavior that tells you everything before feelings get involved, before attachment forms, before you start excusing what you saw. Because if he shows you who he is on the first date, believe him. Let's talk about the red flags you should never ignore. Red flag number 1. He talks about his ex the entire time. He takes you to dinner. You're sitting across from him. You've ordered food and drinks. At first, the conversation feels normal. You're asking questions. He's answering. Then his ex's name comes up. You don't think much of it. People have pasts. But then he brings her up again and again. You change the subject. He circles back. You ask about his goals. He talks about his and her goals. You ask about travel. He mentions where they used to go. You're not the focus. His ex is. He is not connecting with you because he's still emotionally attached to his ex. When someone repeatedly references a past partner, it means they have not let go of the emotional attachment to that relationship. They may not be with that person physically, but emotionally, the door is still open. Why women ignore the signs? Because we've been conditioned to see emotional expression as depth. We think, at least he's honest. At least he's not hiding anything. At least I know what I'm walking into. But knowing you're walking into emotional unavailability doesn't make it safe. The me with issues would say, at least he's transparent. At least he's telling the truth. Maybe he just needs someone better. Maybe I'm the upgrade. The me who is working on herself says, if he's still processing someone else, he is not available for me. I am not here to compete with a memory. I am not here to prove I'm different. I am here for a man who is emotionally ready. If you ignore this red flag, you will spend months trying to outperform a woman you don't even know. This one will shock you. Red flag number 2. He insults the waiter. You're at the table. The waiter makes a small mistake. Maybe the order is wrong. Maybe the drink is delayed. His tone shifts. He rolls his eyes. He becomes sharp, dismissive, condescending. He talks down to someone who is simply doing their job. You feel it, but you tell yourself it's not about you. How someone treats people tells you who they are. Respect is not selective. Character doesn't turn on and off. When a man feels superior to someone, you're seeing how he behaves when he feels power. Why women ignore this? Because it wasn't directed at them. Because otherwise, the date is going well. Because they think he's just being assertive. The me with issues says, he's just having a bad day. Maybe the service really was bad. The me who is working on herself says, a bad day reveals baseline character. And if he can humiliate someone in public, he can humiliate me in private. If you ignore this, one day you will be the waiter in the story, the one he talks down to. Now, this next one is subtle. Red flag number 3. He love bombs in 45 minutes. It's been less than an hour. He says, I've never met anyone like you. You're different. I can already tell this is going somewhere serious. He's constantly texting. He gives excessive compliments, all within days or weeks after meeting. Fast intensity has no depth. It's projection. He's attached to an idea of you, not the reality of you. Real intimacy builds through consistency. It does not explode on contact. Why women ignore this? Because it feels amazing. It feels validating. It feels like being chosen quickly. The me with issues says, that's romantic. That means he is into me. The me who is working on herself says, a man who knows me for 1 hour does not know enough to promise me anything. Fast attachment is not the same as real connection. Consequence, If you accept love bombing, you will later experience withdrawal. Intensity without foundation collapses. This next one is obvious, but you ignore it. Red flag number 4. He makes sexual comments too early. You're mid-conversation. You're talking about work, or travel, or family, and suddenly, he shifts it. A suggestive joke, a comment about your body, a sexual undertone. He laughs it off like it's nothing. He is testing your boundary. He is checking how far he can go. When someone introduces sexual energy too early, they are prioritizing access over connection. Why women ignore this? Because they don't want to seem uptight. Because they think attraction should be flattering. Because they like him and don't want to set boundaries. The me with issues says, he's just attracted to me. That's a compliment. The me who is working on herself says, attraction without respect is telling you he wants access, but he does not value you. If he leads with sexual energy, that's the lane he intends to stay in. If you allow early boundary crossing, you teach him that your boundaries are not real boundaries. This one tells you where you stand. Red flag number 5. He checks his phone constantly. You're talking, his phone lights up. He checks it. He reads the text. He texts back. You continue speaking. He nods, but his eyes drop to the screen again. He is waiting for a response. You do not have his full attention. This goes on for most of the date. He is present, but you are not his priority. Divided attention reveals divided focus. When someone is genuinely interested, they are present. Why women ignore this? Because everyone is busy. Because they don't want to seem needy. The me with issues says, he's just important. He's a busy man. The me who is working on herself says, a man who is interested is present. If I don't have his attention now, I won't be his priority later. If you normalize divided attention, you normalize low investment. And it doesn't stop there. Red flag number 6. He pressures you to extend the night. You say you're leaving. He says, one more drink. You say you have work. He says, come over for a little while. You decline. He pushes again. He's not respecting your first no. This is compliance testing. He is measuring how flexible your boundaries are. When someone ignores a soft no, they're testing how firm your limits are. Why women ignore this? Because they think he's really attracted to them, because they don't want to ruin the vibe. The me with issues says, I don't want him to think I'm rigid. The me who is working on herself says, a man who respects me does not need to push my boundaries. If he pressures you on date 1, it will not stop there. A first date is not about being chosen. It's about choosing wisely. It's not about impressing him. It's about observing him. You are not there to win him. You are there to evaluate him. If he shows you who he is, believe him. And if he fails the evaluation, that's not rejection. That's information. The right man won't require you to ignore red flags. He won't make you question your boundaries. He won't rush what should grow naturally. Pay attention early. It saves you later. If this resonated with you, subscribe. We don't ignore red flags here. We learn from them. Comment below. What's a first date red flag you wish you didn't ignore?